Hi, I'm Christine Austria. Welcome to our first edition of Ask the Expert. Today, we're joined by Matt Swann, one of Curvature's server and storage solutions sales engineer. Thanks for kicking us off, Matt. How are you?
Oh, I'm living the dream and happy to be here, Christine. So I hear we're talking about server memory today. Is that correct?
That's right. So tell me, what does server memory do and why should our customers care about it?
Yeah, so server memory is essentially the area where computer instructions are going to sit and wait to be carried out by the CPU. So in general, CPUs can only carry out one specific instruction set at a time. So the memory allows the server to sort of queue up all those billions of instructions that get carried out every second. And for my sports fans out there, you can think about it like this. If the current instruction being carried out is a baseball player at bat, all the instructions sitting in memory can be thought of as being on deck.
Okay, that makes sense. So what are some important memory specs that we should be aware of?
Yeah, well, there's a lot. And, I should preface by saying that I tend to hear a lot of confusion about various terms such as memory, RAM, DIMMs, stuff like that. All these terms essentially mean the same thing, but in my world, we do tend to refer to the individual memory sticks as a DIMM. And then, so we can go ahead and hop into the memory specs. The first one being the size or the capacity of the memory. And this typically comes in powers of twos, with common sizes these days being 16, 32, 64 gigs. But that's definitely not an all-inclusive list. And then next up, we have the memory speed, which is technically given in megatransfers per second, but also just sometimes referred to as megahertz. And common speeds we see these days are 2666, 2933, and 3200 megahertz DIMMs.
Okay, so it sounds like there's a lot of different size and speed options out there, right?
Yeah, there definitely are, but it's also worth noting that if you mix and match speeds in a server, the entire server is going to run at the lowest common denominator speed. So it's just something to kind of keep in mind. You want to make sure you don't accidentally hamstring your 3200 megahertz DIMMs by throwing in some 2666 megahertz ones.
Okay, that's good to know. So what else is important?
So up next, we can talk about memory rank. This is a somewhat lesser known term that basically describes how many individual memory modules exist on a stick of memory. We typically see dual and quad rank DIMM these days. And then it's also just good to keep in mind that it's best practice to match memory rank wherever possible, as sometimes servers aren't going to support mixing and matching them. And then the last thing we can touch on real quick is just the difference between what's known as a registered and a load reduced DIMM, or an R or an LR DIMM. And essentially, these two terms kind of describe the different internal architectures of the memory sticks. And all you really need to know about this is that you can't mix and match R and LR DIMMs, so you'll need to keep them either all one or all the other.
Okay, so this is a ton of information. Thanks for sharing that. If you have any questions for one of our experts, simply leave a comment below or contact us, and we'll see you next time on Ask the Expert.